Hi everyone, I'm Paul with MadCap Software, and in this video I'm going to talk about one of the things that you can do with your Flare projects up in MadCap Central, and that is you can do some authoring. So in other words, you can add new files, you can upload files, you can make changes to files, all up there in MadCap Central. Now, most of the heavy-duty authoring will still be done in your Flare project because there are years and years and years of features. And so not you can't do everything up in Central, but some really common things can be done up there. And I'll take you through it. We'll look through the editor, see exactly what you can do. Now, there are a couple of really good reasons why you might want to use the authoring feature. Number one, you as a Flare author or other authors on your team, you're up on Central, you're working away doing something, and you realize, oh man, I forgot. I need to make this change here in this file, or I need to add this file. I forgot to do it. Well, instead of going back into your local Flare project, making the changes, doing whatever you need to do, and then committing and resyncing, and then going back up into Central, you can just do it right there up in Central, depending on the extent of what you need to do, of course. And then later, when you have time, you can just resync with your local Flare project to get those changes back down locally. Okay. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this feature is that it is supported with single bound projects only. In other words, you have a real simple setup. You've got your Flare project and you just have one source control binding. That is to MadCap Central. The authoring feature will work. If you have a more complex setup, you've got an initial binding to another provider and then a second source control binding, and that goes to Central. Unfortunately, the authoring feature won't work in that situation. So just keep that in mind. Now, this video is split into multiple sections, and I'm going to take you through these things that I mentioned that you're going to be able to do up in Central. And so if you want to skip ahead to any section, just hover over the play bar and you can skip ahead or go back. And we're going to begin by looking at authoring permissions, the things that you have to have set up in order to be able to do authoring in Central. So let's get started. So here we are on a MadCap Central license, and I am going to go into my users page, and I've got a whole bunch of users here on my license. Now, the first thing that you need to know about this authoring feature is a person has to have the author status. And you can see I've got lots of users on here, some authors, viewers, got some subject matter experts in here. So an author can do this, and that author needs to have certain permissions. I'm going to open up this person, Clarice Starling, and she has to, let's go down to permissions, and you can see all the permissions in here, and these are set globally in this situation, and she's got all of the permissions. Now, the ones that we're interested in here are down here under files. There's create edit files, and there's edit code, because as we get into the editor, you're going to see that there's a regular content editor, which is just a real easy to use, kind of not exactly what you see is what you get, but that kind of editor. And then there's the code editor. So just like in Flare, you can switch to the text editor and you can edit the markup. That's what this is about. So depending on the file that you open, they might have both kinds of editors available, the content and the code editor. But you need to specify whether a person has access to one or both of these. By default, authors are automatically going to have these selected. So we don't need to do anything with Clarice in this case. She's okay. You also have to make sure that they have access to the project. And I'm going to go in here to that access page and make sure I've got a project in here called module 1 that I'm going to work with, and we'll just make sure she's got access to that. Okay, so that is Clarice Starling, our author. Now, what if you've got another person who's not a Flare author and you want them to be able to use this? So for example, come down here and we've got Inigo Montoya, all right? He's a subject matter expert. Well, what I could do is I could just switch him from a subject matter expert to an author and just limit his permissions. All right, so look up here and I go, all right, author seats, I'm good because I am only using 14 out of 30, subject matter experts, 4 out of 10. So we'll just change him. So I'm going to click on SME and I'm going to change him to an author. And that way I can set permissions. So even though he's not technically a Flare author, that doesn't matter. It's just a status that Flare cares about, or that Central cares about, so that you can or can't do certain things. So I'm going to open up his profile. I'm going to give him access to this project in here. Click Edit. And we'll go down and do the same thing. Give him access to the Module 1 project. And I'm going to go into permissions. And now in this case, he doesn't have any because he was a subject matter expert and we're starting bare bones. I have to decide what I want to give him access to. In this case, I just want to give him access to these. But actually, I don't want to give him access maybe to the edit code option. So I'll deselect that. In Clarice Starling's case, maybe she's an advanced technical writer and she knows how to edit the markup, the XHTML code. And so we're good with that. But Inigo, no, he's just he's not an advanced user. He's just a contributor. So we just want to limit him to creating and editing files in that content editor. So use these, at your discretion. Maybe you've got some senior writers, maybe you got some junior writers, and you want to disable this for the junior writers as well as your subject matter experts. It's up to you. I'm going to click Save. And that is it. So we're all set up. These people can do editing. I'm also logged in. I can do editing. That's what it takes in order to get set up. Now, the first thing let's take a look at is the ability to add new files, to create new files in MadCap Central. So I'm going to come over here to Projects, and I've got a whole bunch of projects in here, and Module 1 is the one I want to work on. I'm just going to click that right there. It's going to open up the page for everything on that project, and up at the top, I want to come to Files. And there are my files. One of the things that I want to make sure I do is that I'm on the right branch, and that you get to from this drop down up here. And I have a number of branches for this project. The main one is called Master, and then there's also Feature 1, Feature 2, Feature 3, and Release in there. Now, if you're not using branching, you don't need to worry about that. You're always going to be on the same branch, and it's going to be called Master. And so that's just one less step you have to worry about. But I would highly encourage anyone and everyone to look closely at using branching, because it's going to make you more efficient with your projects, especially if you're on a team, especially if you're having to put out frequent content. Now, in this case, I'm going to switch to a branch. I'm going to switch to the Feature 1 branch, just because I want to take you through this in case you are using branching. Now, I want to add a new file. You can see these are the folders, the content project folder. This is my main project file right there. And I want to add maybe a new topic. I can expand that, and I can see my other subfolders and my topics in here. And if I expand procedure topics, for example, I've got 4 topics under here. Maybe I want to add a brand new topic in here. I want to add procedure 4. Okay, so I'm going to click these 3 dots and select new file. Now I have to choose the file type. So you can create brand new topics, you can create brand new snippets, or you can create a text file. That's what other basically means. So first of all, in this video, I'm just going to do topic, and I'll also go down and I'll do one of the other file types, just to show you. Snippet is, if you know how to create a topic, you're going to know how to create a snippet. So I'm going to select topic in there. And now you need to decide, where does it go? So you can click in here and type the path. Probably more likely you're going to want to click this so that you can go in and drill down and select where you want it. And I want it in that procedure topics folder. So I'm going to select that, and it puts it right there. Now I'm going to add the name of my topic, procedure 4 in this case. I don't have to add an extension here. It knows it's a topic, so it knows what to do. Now click add, and you can see it pops up here. And up at the top, you can see, all right, I get this new little icon next to it. That's a brand new one, but it doesn't show up over here on the left because I haven't done a commit. We're dealing with Git here, so we have to do a commit. We have to tell it, yeah, this I definitely want to add this thing. So don't forget to do that. Don't go in and add another file and forget to commit, because this one won't get added. So I'm not going to do any editing right now. I'm just going to commit this thing. So I'm going to click commit and give it a message. So I'm just going to say added new procedure topic and click commit. Soon as it's done, this changes, so you don't have the commit thing here. The new icon is gone, and it's over here on the left. So it's done. It has been added. All right, let's add another type of a file. Let's add one of the a text file. So maybe we want to put it down here under resources. Let's add, so these are text files, and you don't have to add an extension to these either, but you can. And let's say I want to add let's say a JavaScript file. And so it's a JS extension, and I want to put it here under resources. Maybe I want to put it in a folder called scripts. I don't have a folder called scripts. So let's see how you can deal with that. You can create a folder on the fly too. So I'm going to click this and say new file type. Let's select other, and file path. All right, I'm going to begin by going down here to selecting resources, so I don't have to type in that part. And I'm going to click accept, but I want a new folder in here. So I'm going to type scripts and then a backslash or a slash like that. And now I can type the name. And so let's say my JavaScript, and I'm going, there we go, .js. Okay. And I am going to click add, and it adds a text file in here. And you get the same thing pretty much as the other one, except before it was edit content and edit code. Now it's just edit code because it's just a text editor. You get this new icon, got to commit it. I'll just type blah for now, just so we have something in here. And that's not valid JavaScript, but I'm going to click commit and say added JavaScript file and click commit. Now this stuff goes away up here, commit, and I got a brand new folder, and I got my JavaScript file there. So that is how you can add brand new files up in Central. And then later when we go over synchronizing, we'll go into our Flare project, we'll synchronize, and you'll see these new files in your Flare project. So we created a couple of brand new files, but you can also upload existing files, and there are all kinds of files that you can upload. For the most part, it's things like multimedia files, images and things like that, but you could also add things like files such as PDFs or Word documents. There's all kinds of files. If you really want to see the list, go into the online help, and it just lays it all out for you, everything that you can add. Let's go ahead and let's add an image in here. Let's upload one of those, because that would be a common thing that you'd need to do. So what I'm going to do here is, again, I'm going to click on these three dots and select upload files. Now you get this dialog, which lets you select the path, and you can drag and drop your files, or you can click here to browse for them, and then you got a commit message. That's what this whole thing is. Let's say I want to add a brand new image. I'm going to select my path first, go down to content, resources, and I already have an images folder, so I'm going to select that, click accept. That's my path. I'm going to drag and drop just this FictionSoft logo in here, adds it right there. Now commit message, need to do that. So I'm going to say added FictionSoft logo and do a commit. So it finishes and we go into our images folder and there it is, fictionsoft.bmp. Another type of file maybe you want to add, let's say I want to add a PDF and I want to add it, well, let's just add it to the root, the content folder. And so click here and upload files again. And here I'm just going to select content and accept. And again, I can browse. It's just real easy to drag. So I already have this little PDF over here. I'm going to drag in my PDF, commit message, added PDF file, and click commit. All right, do this. And there it is right there, my PDF.pdf. So uploading new files up into your project so that you can do things with them. Now let's get into the actual editors and see what those are all about. Now I'm going to go in here, procedure topics. There, I added that new procedure for, let's go up here. I'm going to select procedure 1. And this happened to open up in the code editor because I just had a text editor, a text file open, that JavaScript file, and it was on the code editor, so it remembered. But otherwise, it would start in this view, the content tab, and this is where you would work. Now, because I have a topic open, and this is the case for a snippet also, I see both of these up here. It doesn't mean I could use them both. I have to have the right permissions that I showed you earlier. I have to, this is to create and edit, using the, and if I want to use the content editor, I just need that one. But I also need that edit code permission if I want to use this view right there, that editor. Now you get this right now. All I can do is look at it. Can't do anything with it. Click in here. You can't type. You have to click edit first. As soon as I click that, I'm going to get this toolbar up here, and I can click and I can just type away. So I'm just going to type new content here. All right. So it's very, very simple. And we want to maybe go through the toolbar here. We'll get to the code editor next because it has a different toolbar. First of all, you got this one. This is a toggle button to track changes. So I just typed content and it just added it. But if I want to track changes, all right, here is some more. And it turned it red because it's tracking it. And that means that at some point, this thing, whoops, I'm used to right clicking on these things. Once it gets back into the actual, everything's committed and you're back in the editor. If you're back in Flare, you can accept or reject these things. So it's tracked it and it's letting you know what happened and who did it. Okay. And I could toggle that off again. So then if I type, here is more, so it's not tracked anymore. So that's real easy. Undo, redo, those are easy to understand. You also have this annotation button. If you've dealt with the reviews in Central, you'll know that this exists there as well. So you can click there and you can add a comment about this, so other people can see it as well, or you can just make notes for yourself to refer back later. You click on it and it has the line that points to the topic that's in question here. So the insert annotation, you can also delete an annotation like that. And then there's some basic styling. So you can do bold, italic, underlines, just going to add those basic tags in here. So I could select something in line like that. And I want to make it bold, make that italic, you get the idea. Or I could do something at the block level. I could add a heading. There's H1 through H6. So let's add, okay, subheading, and here's some more text. And I'm going to click on subheading. Don't have to select the thing, just click on it. And whoops, this one right here, and let's make that an H2. Okay, so basic step. I could also create a list. So let's do list item 1, list item 2, list item 3. And if I click this, well, let's select it first so it knows what to apply it to. I could do a bulleted list or an ordered list, which is a numbered list, or a definition list, which is a lesser known type of list. Is pretty cool. Go into the online help and learn all about that. You can increase and decrease levels of it. Let's just do a simple bulleted list like that. All right, I think you get the idea. And then let's insert an image. I uploaded that FictionSoft image, so I can come in here, go look for this thing under images, and that was called FictionSoft, and it's a BMP file. It gives you a preview, insert it right there. And what else? Table. I'm going to come, just go up here and add a table. So click that. It's a very, very simple table. And I'm going to do 3 columns, 3 rows. Just hover over that, select it. And so maybe you've got a contributor who's adding, a very, very simple table. They have the knowledge. They know what goes into the cells. And so you let them do that. And then when we bring this back into Flare later, you could pretty it up. You could add headings, things like that. But since the time that I originally recorded this video, there have been a few additions to this toolbar. Options that have to do with links right in here, starting with this one, running through that. And this allows you to insert, so I could select some text and I could insert a text hyperlink, or I could insert a cross-reference. So those are similar types of links, a little bit different. Cross-references are based on preset formats, and hyperlinks those are good for linking to external websites or external files, as well as files within the same project. So you have those, plus you have additional buttons in here for removing those types of links if you already have them in here like that. I also have a couple of short movies on those types of links, cross-references and text hyperlinks. Again, I'll put links in the description. The basics for the editor. And then what we want to do is basically just commit the thing again. So we click commit. Otherwise, it's not going to take all this. So I'm going to commit it and say added content to procedure. All right, click commit, and it's good. So that's locked in then. Okay, what about the code editor? Let's switch over there. I happen to have permission for both of these, so I could edit in the code editor as well. And so you could, change tags and, change content, do all kinds of things in here. Now, there is actually a toolbar that goes with the code editor too. And right now I'm just viewing it. Remember, I have to click edit. So I click edit, and now I can actually click in here. And here's where I could, add tags, change tags or content in here. And you get the undo, redo. You also have this, you can wrap the lines. So right now they're wrapped. And so you see everything within the space of the editor, but I could click that off, and so that you'd need to go like that. You need to scroll over. And then this is format code. And that just basically means it's going to clean up your white space, extra white space. For example, if I happen to have, click in here, unnecessary white space in here, click that, and it'll remove it. So that's what that's all about. And I'm just going to say minor changes and commit that. All right, so there we go. Now, one other thing that you can do with these files, you can right-click on one, and there is also this option that says View Raw. So if you select that, all it's going to do is open up another tab in your browser with a standalone clean version of the HTML. So that's what that thing does. If you think you'll use that, then there you go. Otherwise, you can ignore that part. Those are the basics of editing the files using the editor. You can see it's pretty simple, but some of the most common things you can do in there. Now, since the time I originally recorded this video, there has been another really big addition to authoring, and that has to do with the integration of ChatGPT into MadCap Central. AI Assist is the name that's given to the integration between artificial intelligence and MadCap Central. And specifically, we're talking about ChatGPT. And most people already know about ChatGPT because it's all over the place. It is an advanced language model that generates human-like responses based on prompts, based on the commands that you give it. So you have this integration between these. Now, when you are wanting to connect your central license so that you can use AI Assist, so you can use ChatGPT, you need to keep a couple of things in mind. One is that there are a couple of versions of ChatGPT that are supported in AI Assist in Central. 3.5, so if you've got a free account of ChatGPT through OpenAI, which that's who develops it, if you've got that, you are using 3.5. If you have a paid account, a ChatGPT Plus account, you can use ChatGPT 4. And of course, this will certainly change over time as OpenAI does more development, more versions and things. So the other thing is, in order to have this integration, you're going to need to get an API key from OpenAI. And you're going to need to pay for this API key. Of course, you can go on there and get one for free. It's really easy, and then you plug it in, but you're going to find that it sort of works like a trial, and after a certain amount of time or a certain amount of usage, you're not going to be able to generate the responses anymore. So what we do is our IT department got us an API key, and I just took that and I plug it in and I use it. All right, so another thing you might be wondering is, all right, so why would I want to have this integration with MadCap Central and ChatGPT? Can't I just have ChatGPT up on a browser and be doing, putting in prompts, getting responses, and just copying and pasting that over? Yeah, you can do that, but there are certain benefits to having this close integration between the two. One is that you just have one interface, right? You don't have to have multiple windows open. So you're in Central and you have access to all your Flare files, your content files, and access to the ChatGPT right there in one place. So you don't have to go back and forth. Another benefit is this differences tool that is built in to AI Assist. So when you make adjustments to existing content through the help of ChatGPT, you're going to be able to see quickly what the differences are, what changes ChatGPT made to that content. You're also going to see in AI Assist, you're going to see a toolbar every step of the way. So as you get into AI Assist and you start creating prompts and getting responses, you can just kind of keep this going in one long thread if you want. Keep adjusting things and keep asking for more content from ChatGPT. And each one of these little sections has its own toolbar that you can use to edit things on the fly if you want. And finally, it's just a really quick insertion. You don't have this copy and paste happening here. If you are inserting brand new content, you just click insert if you want to use a particular response, or if you have started out with existing content, you would replace it. So and it will, it will insert things using the correct HTML. So for example, if you've got a list or something, you're going to notice the right HTML tags when you insert that. So you decide you want to integrate with ChatGPT in your central license. First thing, got to make sure you have the right permissions. So I'm going to open up my profile, come down to permissions, and it's this server management permission. That's what you need. I already have it, so I'm just going to close out of this. Now you click on your license icon and come down to license settings. Come down here to AI Assist, you would paste in your API key that you get from OpenAI, and then you select your version, depending on what kind of account you have with ChatGPT. Do you have 3.5 or 4? You'd select it there. What do you want to use? And then you just click Save. Now I'm going to open up another license where I already have AI Assist integrated. So now you want to actually use ChatGPT. Well, once again, you got to make sure that you have the right permissions, and you open up your profile, come down to permissions, scroll all the way down, and under Files, you see Edit Files with AI Assist. As long as you have that, you're good. I have it, so I'm going to close out of this. Now, let's use ChatGPT in Central. First of all, I am going to come in here and open up one of my projects, and then I want to come up to Files. And so you just navigate to the file where you want to use it. And I will do it with this one right here, this topic called Other Cities. I'm going to click Edit. Now I will place my cursor. Let's say that I want to insert some new content based on information I get from ChatGPT. So I place my cursor there, and you got this little icon right there. Just click that. It opens up. So now I can just write a message in here. And I'm going to tell it, list the 10 largest cities in the world. Click here. And I get my answer along with this toolbar and this insert button. So if I want to real quickly, I could just click insert. But maybe I want to make an adjustment to this. So I can say remove the population of each. So I just wanted the list without, the number of people. So it just gives me that. Now I could keep going and going if I want. Or maybe I come back up here and decide, no, this is the one that I want. I could insert that. I could edit it any way that I want. Or I might want this one. So I can click that and insert that. I'm going to click it, and there it is. Now I'm going to commit my changes. Added largest cities. All right. And click commit. And I'm done. Now let's do another topic where we want to adjust some existing content. I'm going to select, actually first I'm going to click edit here, and I'm going to select this content right here where I have purposely made some mistakes. And I'm going to click AI right there. And because I selected the text, it shows up so I can review exactly what I've selected. And I can give it a prompt like this. Please edit this for grammar and spelling. Also make sure to use the serial comma, and click this. And there are the new results. Now, if you want to know, okay, so what exactly did it change? That's this little diff tool right here. So click on that, and it highlights. It lets you know exactly, all right, it fixed some spelling there and some spelling there, fixed some grammar, and scroll over, and there's the serial comma that I wanted. So you get to see exactly what was changed. And then you can just click, instead of replace, or instead of insert, you would click replace, because you started out with existing content, and there it is. And then you would just commit your changes once again. Now, of course, these are just two quick examples, and there are loads of things that you could do with ChatGPT, and specifically some that are probably appealing to technical communicators. So what you can do is just click this little help icon right here. It'll open up the help topic where we've put in lots and lots of examples way beyond, what you've seen here, how you might want to use this. Now, as cool as ChatGPT is, there are some reasons to be cautious when you're using it. And I'll list just a few here. Number one is inaccuracies. Even though ChatGPT sometimes seems like the smartest person in the world, sometimes it seems like the dumbest person in the world, and it gives you wrong information. So sometimes you might need to cross-check the information you get from ChatGPT with other sources to make sure it's correct. Number two, yeah, it seems like it's a human when you're talking to it, but of course we all know it's not a human, and it can't do certain things like it doesn't take context into account sometimes, can't master conceptual relationships. It's not great at nuance. So just keep that in mind. Number three is it can't create truly original content. Your company is working on this new thing and you got to write about it. Well, ChatGPT has no idea what your company is working on, so it's not going to be able to just magically create all the documentation for that. It can help you with certain things, but don't expect it to just create all that original content magically. Another thing is outdated information, because if you're using ChatGPT sort of like a search engine, well, it can be great for that. But after September 2021, it has limited knowledge only. Now, there is a plugin with the paid version of ChatGPT where you can enable this browser version where you can get more up-to-date internet content. But otherwise, you are only getting full information from before that time, September 2021. And after that, it just has limited knowledge of what's happened after that. So keep that in mind. And finally, privacy concerns. Of course, a lot of companies are concerned about this. So if you don't want the whole world to know about what you are writing, so then don't put it into the prompt. Don't feed it into ChatGPT. So it can be extremely useful and helpful to help you do your job more efficiently, better every day, but keep those cautions in mind. Another thing you can do with authoring is rename files. Now, I would use caution with this because if you happen to have a file that has links from other files, well, once you get it back into Flare, you're going to find broken links. Now, if it doesn't have links, for example, procedure 4, I just created that. There's no links from anything. So I could right-click on that and say rename, and I could rename that to, whatever I want with no problem. But let's go up here to introduction topics, and there's what's new. All right, so let's say I want to rename that. So right-click that, rename. There is the path. There's the name of it. And let's say I want to change this to, instead of what's new, let's say I want to call it what's up, that's just the formal way of saying sup. Sup. So commit this, renamed file, and I'm going to click rename and go back up here. There it is. What's up? The issue is this one is linked from a couple of other files in the Flare project. So right now it seems okay, but once we get it back down there, you're going to see, all right, there's broken links. And we're going to go actually take a look at that next. We're going to go into Flare, we're going to synchronize, and we're going to see all these changes that we've made up on Central. Before I switch over to Flare, I just want to remind you that we made these changes in a branch called Feature 1. Again, if you're not using branching, it's going to be master branch. You don't have to worry about any of this. But I'm going to go back into my Flare project, and we're going to see what happens. So here is the project in Flare. And if I look in my lower right corner, you can see master is selected. So I could go in here and I could synchronize, meaning I'm going to pull and then push, or I don't have any commits in here. You can see zeros across the board. So all I need to do is really pull. I don't need to synchronize. Synchronize does both of these, but I'm just going to pull so I get the latest stuff from Central. But I'm in my master branch. I didn't make those changes in the master branch, so I'm not going to see them. I'm going through this because this is a common thing that people might do. They get back into Flare and they do a sync, and then they think, well, where is everything? And they just forgot about the branch. All right, so it pulled. All files are up to date. No files were updated because the requested file versions were previously downloaded. So there's my procedure 1 topic where I made all these changes, and there's nothing there. All right, but if I go and I switch over to feature 1, all right, I don't see them yet because I haven't pulled anything. I'm going to pull my changes now from Central. Click OK. and it's going to begin pulling. And it's done. And there is everything in that topic that I did. There's the new text, there's the table, the subheading, the list, the image, all of that stuff. So let's just take a quick look around here. So let's go into the procedure topics over here. I added that procedure 4 topic. That wasn't in here before. Now it is. Did that up on Central. I also have my PDF right there. Added that up on Central. My image, you can see it's in here, and it's also in here, fictionsoft.bmp. Let's go down here. There's my scripts folder, which I added, and my JavaScript file. That was added also. And then the last thing that I did is I renamed a topic. I renamed this from what's new to what's up. So if you just want to see, well, did I break anything while I was working up in Central, go to your analysis ribbon, click summary, and it is going to do a scan here. This one is up to date. I'm going to force it to analyze the project again to go through. And most of this stuff in here is in black or gray, and it's just information in here. But I scrolled all the way up to the top, and there's this stuff in red. Red means, hey, you got a problem in here. And so it's actually just one broken link in here. If I double click that, you can see it's my TOC. All right, that's what happened. I'm going to double click that. It opens up my TOC, and it says, yeah, you got a broken link here. If you generate your output, that's not going to work. So I'm just going to click and drag this over here and get rid of that and save it. I go back to project analysis, and it rescanned immediately, and broken links aren't there anymore. All right, so that is it for authoring in MadCap Central. You can see it's very easy to do, very simple editors, easy to get set up, and easy to sync it back with your Flare project. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.